shall we begin?
Well, I will just greet everybody, then I will leave to Professor Gilberto to introduce you and to mediate the session.
Okay.
So Professor Gilberto will let you know. Okay, everybody, good morning. I would like to start again. Thank you for being here with us, for joining us for another talk promoted by Confucius Institute, our international office, HUST International Office, and also with the collaboration and fully participation of the School of Economics here at UFMG, being represented today by Professor Gilberto, a very good partner of our initiatives here. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of, I don't think Mr. Gao is here, but he's going to join us first, but I would like to thank him for helping us and making it possible to have another talk with HUST's academic staff. I would also like to thank Professor Zhang for being with us once more, Professor Huang, also from the International Office, working closely now with Confucius Institute. I would like to thank our International Office as well. Again, I would like to acknowledge the presence of other Confucius Institute students throughout Brazil who are also joining us, directors and other professors from other universities as well. The topic today is really important and very instigating. It's the Road and Belt Initiative. And we have the pleasure and the honor to have mediating this talk, Professor Gilberto, who is from the School of Economics. So I leave it with him now to mediate this session. Thank you very much again, and we'll talk later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning, everybody. Today we are having a talk by Professor Hongbing Ouyang from the School of Economics at HUST University. The talk today will be about the Belt and Road Initiative. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Hongbing Ouyang for this opportunity. And we are very glad to have this meeting today. And I hope this is one of many opportunities that we'll have to discuss economic issues between UFMG and HUST. Professor Hongbing Ouyang, he has a PhD in finance by the City University of Hong Kong. Nowadays, he is the vice director and professor of the School of Economics at Huazhong University of Science and Technology. His main research interests include financial economics, econometrics, and financial regulation. Professor Hongbing, I'll leave you the floor to you. And after your presentation, we'll have a question and answer session open to the public who join us today. So please, you have the floor. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Professor Gilberto. And I would like to appreciate the organization by both Dean Barbara and our Dean Professor Chen Jin. I would also like to thank the International Office for our International Office. I would like to thank Huang Chao and Yingjie also for organizing this activity. And today, my presentation is about a very important initiative. We just call it an initiative, not a policy or not a strategy, about the Belt and the Road, also known as One Belt and One Road. For our friends from Brazil, maybe most of you are a little bit strange about this concept. What is belt? What is road? Actually, it is very famous in the history in China, and also in China's relationship with all the other nations in this continent, which is very far away from South America. Okay, and so I will introduce the background, the history, and the main proposal, and why China proposed so-called initiative like this. Okay, and then we will discuss what will happen and what will happen to to many firms that will take this opportunity. Okay, so first, okay, we would say that it is proposed by our President Xi, and first in September 7th in 2013, and when our president visited Kazakhstan, and for the first time, he proposed that to intimately link the economy of, at that time, it is China and other Asian countries along the so-called Silk Road economic belt. Okay, so we want to deepen the mutual cooperation, expanding the development space, and innovate the cooperation pattern, and also construct this belt, so-called Silk Road economic belt jointly. Okay, and just 1 month later, when our president Xi visited Indonesia, and he gave a speech in the Indonesia Congress, and he proposed that China is willing to strengthen the maritime. Okay, another concept, the maritime cooperation between ASEAN countries. You know, ASEAN countries are, there are 10 countries in these organizations, including Singapore, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, and so on. Okay, and so we want to develop the maritime cooperation partnership and construct the so-called 21st century maritime Silk Road. Okay, so this is the proposed by President Xi and representing China's government and representing China's consideration. Okay, and later, 1 year later, okay, on a dialogue which is called the Dialogue on Strengthening Connectivity Partnership, and so the so-called connectivity partnership is the relationship between China and its neighbor countries. Okay. China announced that we will set Silk Road Fund with $40 billion and propose a series of suggestions to strengthen the connectivity, to deepen. You know, this is belt and the road are the some kind of connectivity first of all, it is on the transportation. So the proposal to strengthen the connectivity between China and other countries, okay, is to strengthen the transportation. So that is so-called connectivity with China and other labor countries. Okay, and so you may ask, okay, what is the belt? What is the road? Actually, all of them have a long history. And the Silk Road is very famous in the world. It was first developed in Han Dynasty, which is nearly 2,000 years ago. And it started from Xi'an, which was very important and maybe the largest city in the world, and the start point of the Silk Road, and stretching to the west, from the Europe, Asia continent, and to the west, and connecting Mid-Asia, West Asia, and Mediterranean, and even Europe. So it is really a road crossing the plain, the desert, and it is a road for trade, for business, and of course later it developed a road of friendship. At that time, so you can see the pictures we present here. This is the Silk Road now, but it still exists. And along this road, so many of merchants, and bring the goods and bring it to many countries, from China to other countries, and also from other countries to China. Another road, which is called the Maritime Silk Road, was also developed by ancient China. It is also used as the way for transportation, trade, and also cultural exchange. That is from East Sea and the South Sea, which is China's sea, and to Southeast Asia, Iberian Peninsula, East Africa, and Mediterranean. At that time, Chinese people had this connectivity with, for example, Malaysia Peninsula, and also in Han Dynasty. In these 2,000 years, trade was focused on porcelain, silk, tea, which is the famous goods of China, and spice. In this process, people know the monsoon, and they invented compass, developed shipbuilding. So for a long time, it is also called Oriental Maritime Silk Road. So that's the historical background we should know. So why now China propose this belt and this road? Because we have a long history and to develop the trade and the business with all these countries along this belt or road. Okay, so maybe we can look at this map. Okay, the Silk Road stretches from Xi'an. At that time, it was the capital of China. And now it is Beijing. And from Xi'an to Lanzhou, and now we can see many famous cities along this Silk Road. If we quite far away to even Istanbul, even Duisburg, even Venice, which at that time it was a very famous city of Rome. And look at the so-called maritime Silk Road on the sea. Okay, so at that time, just a little bit late than the Silk Road, but it was also about 2,000 years ago. At that time, we have some famous ports like Fuzhou, Quanzhou, Guangzhou, Zhanjiang, then to Malaysia Peninsula, to Calcutta, to Colombo, and even far away to East Africa, to Red Sea, and then to Rome at that time. So this is the roadmap. This is the roadmap at that time. But now we are trying. We are trying to develop. Of course, now it is a new economic relationship between China and all these countries, but it is possible, and for all these countries that may be participate in this proposal or initiative, they all have their demand, to develop, to trade, to do business. And this is a simplified roadmap. So we can clearly see that this connection may stretch to even West Europe. And then now maybe you know that we have a very long railway connection, from China and to all these European countries. We call it continental bridge. We call it continental bridge on this Euro-Asia continent. And of course, we are very we emphasize our economic relationship, which are developing along this maritime Silk Road to Southeast Asia, South Asia, and West Asia, and other countries, especially in Africa. Maybe you know, so we have many economic relationships, economic cooperation with African countries. Later, we will introduce, this is not just concept, so we have the detailed plans. The Silk Road economic belt is a land road designed to connect China with Central Asia, Eastern and Western Europe. Every year now, our Prime Minister will have a meeting, okay, with even Eastern Europe. They have more than 10 countries, and all the government officials will get together, okay, to have a meeting with Chinese Prime Minister, okay. So you can see that the relationship, especially on economic cooperation, okay, has developed for a long time now, okay. And this belt, okay, will link China with the Mediterranean Sea and the Persian Gulf and the Middle East, South Asia and Southeast Asia. Okay. And the aim for this proposal has two. Okay. One is to build the Euro-Asian land bridge. Okay. Now it is a logistic chain, okay, but this chain, okay, undertakes a lot of China's export and import with Western Europe, even in this special year, 2020. Okay. The other one is that, okay, China proposed to develop the economic corridors connecting China with Mongolia and Russia. This is one aspect. And the other is about, okay, with Central Asia. And the third one is the, so these are different, okay, directions. Okay. One is to the north, okay, Mongolia and Russia. The other is to the west, that is Central Asia, okay, and to the south, okay, it is Southeast Asia, okay. On the Maritime Silk Road, okay, this is a similar road, okay, but okay, the connection, okay, will use sea transportation, okay, and the aim is similar. China proposed to build an efficient transport road between major ports, okay, in various countries, including China and including other countries along this road. For example, all the countries through the Indian Ocean. Okay, so it will develop a better connection between China with South Asia, Middle East, Africa, and Mediterranean. Okay. For now, okay, these countries and regions along this belt and road, okay, has a very considerable scale. Okay. For example, all the countries together, okay, along this belt and road covers 4.4 billion population in the world, okay, which is about 63%. Okay. And the economic scale is about 21 trillion US dollar. 21 trillion US dollar is similar to the GDP of United States. United States. It is about, it is even a little bit bigger than United States, because this this figure is calculated several years ago. And it covers about 65 countries along this Belt and Road. Okay, so it is a great an economic relationship. Together, now people call it One Belt, One Road strategy, which encompass over 60 countries. And we can expect, for this development of this Belt and Road for several years or even for a long time, there will be exciting new commercial opportunities. And we can believe that the potential exists for powerful partnerships between companies, not just in China, but in the countries, all the countries along these roads. It will benefit all the companies that may have opportunity to participate all this economic cooperation. You may ask, why China propose such kind of proposal or initiative? So frankly speaking, China has its own reason. Some of them you may know. For several years, for example, China's overcapacity problem. For example, when China developed and in the past several decades, and for 4 decades, China is facing very serious resource shortage in some aspects. And naturally, when China developed, it may have the demand to expand its strategic space and to seek new national security. China has a lot of national security problems. Later I will introduce. And of course, you may know, it is because China have very serious trade conflicts with United States and even with some other developed countries. And the last one, China want to construct a transportation network connecting China with its neighbors and with other countries on this continent. This is also very natural because for our experience, if you want to develop your economy, of course, you need a better and better transportation network. So China's transportation, China's infrastructure is very famous in the world, and we can see a lot of potential benefits, and many people may also benefit from this very good infrastructure. So first, what is the overcapacity problem at that time? I mean, several years ago. overcapacity problem, because in the development of China, which is very fast, okay, in this process, okay, we find that many firms, and of course, some of them are encouraged by the local government, okay, so have developed the overcapacity of production in almost all industries, particularly in the traditional industries like iron. Okay, so large scale of investment were input to develop the capacity of different industries, iron, textile, and many other, even equipment, and so this brings a lot of problem later. For example, low efficiency, low profitability. So the overcapacity problem means that the factories may have large capacity, but they can't find the demand that can match their capacity of production. So they may want to find the outsources, the demand from other countries. This is quite natural. And if the Belt and the Road can develop under this suggestion, then it may open new export market and to compete with America and Japan. And it may help emerging market countries or other less developed countries in infrastructure construction. So at that time, many media also report that China want to export its famous infrastructure construction. And that is true. That is true. So at that time, China even want to use its sufficient foreign exchange reserves to promote outside investment, which means foreign direct investment to other countries. And of course, we know though, when the economy developed to a certain extent, of course, it needs more and more resources. For example, we may know that China's oil and gas resources are highly dependent on overseas resources from, for example, Arabian countries, for example, at that time from Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the oil dependent rate, and this is the figure in 2012, rises to for 56%. What is the figure now? For example, 2018, it is nearly 70%. So this is also a problem for China. And those big companies, of course, will seek to find reliable supply for example, oil, for example, mines. Okay, and this Belt and Road, okay, and development will build. Of course, we believe that it will build some effective channels to get resources. Okay, and okay, we know that. Okay, when China gets bigger and bigger in its economy, okay, the securities customs also changed. Okay. The industry and the infrastructure of coastal region, western area and the central area need to be protected from external concealed threats. Okay. Look at this map. Okay, China find that it is surrounded surrounded by many bases of America. America. Okay, so this Belt and Road development may improve the capability to strengthen our national security at the risk of conflict. This is also quite natural. Okay? So now, especially in this year, we can see the relationship between these two countries is particularly strengthened, particularly stressed. Stressed. Okay. So it is basically a trade initiative. Because the China, of course, will seek the new outside partners, because we have the so-called trade war with United States for more than 2 years. So of course, China will seek new markets. And finally, this is very good. It proposes a transportation network, which propose to build a railway, ports, in the neighboring area, and promote the export trade and a mobilization of resources. When this Belt and Road Initiative proposed, it has a great international influence. Some opinion regard that Belt and Road will help China forming overall opening stage and a great power diplomacy system. All the countries involved will benefit from increased international trade and infrastructure construction, and also will benefit capital flow and people flow. Some of the experts say that Belt and Road may help to form a highly interconnected Euro-Asia continent. On all these terms, trade, infrastructure, capital, humanity cooperation, and even has a geopolitical effect. But for China, of course, some of the government, okay, in charge, designated to promote this strategy or this initiative. Okay, so we do have a blueprint, okay, which is for a circular road connecting the vibrant East Asia at one hand and the developed European economic circle at the other. Okay, so it has been described by the government that this is the so-called third round of China's opening up. Okay. Now, okay, this road is becoming more and more clear. Okay, we can see that Belt and Road should be jointly built through consultation to meet the interest of all countries, and the efforts should be made to integrate the development strategies of the countries along this road. What does this mean? It means that China's proposal is to connect the other countries' idea, their demand, their plan. So it is not closed, but it is open and inclusive. Okay, basically, it could be constructed by mutual cooperation. So it is not a strategy that is promoted by China own. So now we say that it is not a solo by China. Okay. There are some explicit projects. For example, China also wants this Belt and Road construction to bring prosperity for the underdeveloped parts of China, particularly in the west of the country, but very, very close to our neighbors. And the other, we believe that increased connectivity and economic development along both roads, through the movement of goods, services, information, and people and culture, will benefit we all. This is an experience from ancient times. At that time, we find that connection, communication will benefit China and benefit other countries and develop our friendship with other nations. So we do want to develop a greater integration between China and neighbors. Of course, an important objective is the energy security through diversification of import sources. And we may have some implicit objectives, which is extend China's growth opportunity In the recent several years, China's GDP growth is gradually reducing. So we also have a problem how to extend the China's growth opportunity for another several decades, at least from 2020 to 2050. Of course, we have and now this year the relationship between China and the US, everybody knows that get worse and worse. China, of course, know that United States is implementing a containment policy, to China. Of course, China want to break these containment. Break this containment means we want to seek more and more national security, more stable and more strengthened national security. The containment is from the sea. So it is natural, to face the west, to face the west. Another objective may be China is trying to develop a new international governance system, of course, and improve the old system dominated by the United States. Of course, they do not want to see it. They do not want to see it. But some voice along the world, has raised this proposal also for a long time. That is, the world needs a new international governance system. Many countries find that this is necessary. Of course, we don't know. China also don't know what is the new international governance system, but we may try. We may try by cooperation of different countries. We may try it by discussion, dialogue, and development. Other reasons, include global resource allocation of China's industries, include new markets for China's industries. Of course, we know that made in China now is very famous. And China has become the largest export economy in the world for several years. After this proposal, IMF did an international comparisons of the scale of development of the Belt and Road region. So let me show some results from this report did by IMF. We look at this table. IMF projections of contribution to world growth from 2016 to 2022. China's growth will be almost half larger than the United States. This is quite clear, in this figure. And according to current exchanges, IMF projects China will account for more than a quarter of world growth in 2016 to 2022. A quarter means 25%, which is very clear in our figure. And also other statistics, for example, in PPPs, the contribution of the United States and the European Union to world growth. And according to their estimation, European and United States together, will less than China. We are less than China, which means the contribution to world growth. So they made a conclusion that the contribution of China to world growth will be almost half as much as the United States. But not only will China be the main contributor to the world growth. We must remember it is a Belt and the Road contribution construction. So it will be at the center of the main regions of world growth. So the Belt and the Road region will be more than twice that of North America and almost 3 times of European Union. So the largest one is the Belt and the Road countries together. Comparing with North America and the European Union, this is the world growth in from year 2016 to 2021. So this one is the percentage of world growth at current US dollar exchange rate. Also very similar. In the IMF report, they estimate that by 2022, the GDP of Belt and Road region will be larger than North America. Larger than North America. So China's growth and the projects in which China participates will be by far the most powerful growth drivers of the world economy. In this decade, I mean from 2010 to 2020, this is a reality. So China has already become the most powerful growth drivers of the world economy. So this estimation, of course, is reasonable. It's reasonable because China has the potential to extend its growth for several decades. Okay. At the beginning, okay, I introduced that. Okay, this is not just a concept. Okay, it has some blueprint in details. For example, okay, according to this initiative, China suggested 6 economic corridors, so-called corridors, okay, which covers over 60 countries. These corridors, okay, include so-called New Euro-Asian Land Bridge, China-Mongolia-Russia corridor, China Central Asia West Asia corridor, China Indochina Peninsula corridor, China Pakistan corridor, Bangladesh China India Myanmar corridor. These are the famous 6 economic corridors, okay, under this Belt and Road. So it means according to this blueprint, we may develop a different cooperation according to different corridor, according to different nationality under this corridor. For example, this is the new Euro-Asian Land Bridge. I introduced that. Now we have very developed, railway system between China and West Europe. And to save time, so I will go through it briefly. This is the China-Mongolia-Russian corridor. This is the China Central Asia West Asia corridor. Under the economic development, for example, we have oil and gas pipelines from Central Asia to China, and now it is very important for China's energy supply. And this is, of course, we have very good relationship with the Indochina Peninsula countries, the ASEAN 10 countries. Now, actually, they are the first. So together, these 10 countries together is the biggest import and export partners with China, not America, not European Union. And China-Pakistan corridor and Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar corridor. And when this is proposed, of course, some countries do not like it. Of course, in this process, China and other countries met some problems. For example, someone said that there is not very clear economic benefit and efficiency under this Belt and Road construction. Of course, some also reported conflicts in these detailed projects. Of course, there are damaging political blowback that could harm Beijing's image or lead to instability in host countries according to some reports. Okay, but I think these are some acceptable reasons, okay, acceptable problems, okay, and these initiatives, okay, heightened the geopolitical tensions in an already tension region, okay, according to some experts, okay, or some officers. Okay. The last one, okay, is also well reported. That is the borrowers' failure, okay, to pay back their loans or businesses' inability to recoup their investment. Okay. I can remember some, okay, reports, okay, in some countries. Okay, this may happen, okay, but I can give one example. Okay. Some correspondent asked, okay, the officers of I think Sri Lanka, do you have, okay, borrowers' failure to pay back your loans from China? Okay. But the answer is no. Okay, this is, okay, directly from their higher, okay, officers, okay, of their government. Okay. Under this initiative, China has some implementation, which may be concluded as the 5 major cooperation. Okay. So if you look at this proposed implementation policy, you may find that it is possible and reasonable. We propose the policy coordination, and then under the policy coordination, there may financial integration, facilities connectivity, and unimpeded trade. Do all these countries need this? We can imagine. So my answer is that, of course, all the countries need cooperation and need to develop their own economy. So it is quite reasonable. And under all these corporations, of course, Belt and Road may promote, okay, the people-to-people exchange and communication. Under this, of course, China raised a lot of new policies and reforms. Okay. To save time, I just want to raise some of them. For example, we have strategic overseas investment, okay, to help the infrastructure construction in some of the world. Okay, even India borrowed a lot. From our Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Okay, to help the infrastructure construction in these countries, and in the infrastructure projects connecting China and these countries. So the implementation includes providing loan, tariff reduction, training tenants, increasing aids in agriculture, green aid, clean energy, education and training, healthcare, and elimination of debt, Okay. Actually, China did a lot in free aid, interest-free loan, and a preferential loan. Okay. Will this benefit the construction, the development of those countries? So we can judge it. We can judge it. And of course, there are a lot of new funding streams, which include the famous Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. This is a photograph of the AIIB. And according to my statistic, and this is the statistic by the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal. More than 70 countries, is the partners and the contributors of this bank, including many developed countries like UK, like Germany, like Italy, Spain. So this bank helped the implementation of the strategy, which requires a large number of investment from financial institutions. And the other one is the Silk Road Fund proposed by China. So when it was launched, the capital of this Silk Road Fund is 25.5 billion. It was oriented towards funding for specific projects and is jointly funded by the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, and the China Investment Corporation, and the Export-Import Bank of China, and the Development Bank of China. The China Development Bank is a very, very big development bank. It is much larger than the World Bank. This fund has positioned itself as a medium to long-term development fund, focused on the investment opportunities and the financing and the investment services. So this proposed some factors of the Silk Road Fund, which now is running very well. Another one. So is the new development bank of BRICS. So we know BRICS. This is includes Brazil. We are BRICS countries. So these 5 members, China, Russia, Brazil, India, and South Africa, founded the new development bank of BRICS. We say that the backup force. So strategy or initiative or proposal should have its fundamental factors, fundamental supports. These may be institutions, may be projects, and maybe some industries. Okay, for example, this AIIB, Silk Road Fund, Shanghai Cooperation Organization Development Fund, BRICS Bank, okay, but also it needs the support of some industries, which is the advantage of China. For example, high-speed railway, for example, the nuclear electricity industry of China, okay. And it may also have our domestic reason. Okay. If you look at the map of China, you may find this okay, yellow part, which accounts for nearly half of China, okay, is the underdeveloped region of China, but connecting to many labors. Okay. So this is quite reasonable if we can develop a very good relationship and promote our cooperation with these countries, promote their economic development. Of course, this may help to develop the western region of China. Okay. This, of course, may have international significance. For example, strengthen effective cooperation with neighboring countries. Many of them are less developed than China. So they need opportunity. They need capital support. Who can provide it? Actually, we know that in these years, even many developed countries may have their problems, like right now. So who can do this? Who can help them? If China stands by, China says that we can provide support. We can provide our advantages. And this is a win-win cooperation. Win-win cooperation. Why not? So, according to some experts, there are two radiant effects give China important diplomatic and economic leverage. And of course, finally, it will promote Chinese culture in an effective way. For example, China's traditional culture, for example, China's development mode. For example, China's technology. So this may have a lot of potential benefits, particularly to Asia. For instance, the opportunity for joint development and regional integration. Even someone do not like the regional integration, but many countries need it and propose it, promote it. For example, ASEAN countries are seeking regional integration for a long time. And this initiative may play a constructive role in the regional economic architecture. We have introduced a lot. Of course, we can feel. This kind of economic cooperation and construction, of course, need a lot of infrastructure, which is the advantage of China. Okay. This initiative will also help many countries to enhance, so it will enhance the regional economic growth, development, and integration. And finally, this will help strengthen the political institutions in this region and reduce the incentives and opportunities for terrorist movements. Okay. So we believe that terrorists somehow may come from underdevelopment. Okay. If the economy developed a lot, okay, this may lower the terrorist movement. Okay. And of course, may provide, the Belt and Road may provide many firm opportunities. For example, new fund resources for many projects in different industries. For example, the market expansion for not only China, but also the other countries. So many of their oil exported to China, grains exported to China, fruits exported to China. China may also use its advantage to help them to promote the talent training and exchange. Another big advantage of China is the industrial upgrading, which is doing in China. And we are doing very well. For example, the new economy, the world famous e-commerce, the electronic pay, the sharing economy, which is very famous in the world. The 5th generation of telecommunication, the Internet of Things, which is known IoT. And now, we are the world leading technology and the industry in 5G, cloud computing, AI, intellectual manufacturing, new energy, and new materials. So China also believes that it can provide its own contribution to the other countries' development, to their industrial upgrade. And it is accepted by many countries. Through this cooperation, they can find benefit, they can find upgrading. So it is underway. Belt and Road is underway. China now, in my opinion, is facing a very serious international circumstance. But I think under this circumstance, China will even promote this Belt and Road, because China will also try to break this containment. So the only way may be to promote this Belt and Road construction. This is, I think it is quite natural. And from China's policy disclosure, we can see that, okay, in these 1 or 2 years, we can find that, okay, under these somehow containment circumstances, okay, China is not closing, okay, but it is opening, okay, okay, to a new extent, okay. So some new policy, some new proposal, okay, is, for example, free trade zone, okay, for example, market access in the new, in some new industry, including finance, okay, okay. So in China, we have totally dependent, totally independent companies set by Tesla, okay, set by American Express. Okay, so it means that we will insist our opening up policy. Belt and Road is one of these policies. Okay, so I have talked, actually it's just a brief introduction on the background and the policy implementation and the possible support of this Belt and Road initiative. Okay. So it is, some of them is from my own understanding. Okay, and welcome your questions, and I will try my best to explain this policy or explain my idea. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you very much, Professor, for this excellent presentation. It has been a very comprehensive presentation, including historical aspects, economic aspects, and geopolitical aspects of the Belt and Road Initiative. We have already some questions from the audience. I will.
Oh, really?
Yes, I will pass some of these questions, and whoever wants to ask questions, feel free to do so. If you prefer to ask questions in Portuguese, we can translate it to Professor Ouyang. So,
thank you.
the first question, Professor, comes from Flavio Oliveira, and he says, "Thank you for the amazing speech. I would like to know if you can talk a little bit about the new European Union strategy on Central Asia and how it tries to counterbalance the One Belt, One Road."
The basic idea, okay, I have explained. You mean for Central Asia?
Yes.
Okay, so we know that on this so-called continent bridge, okay, Central Asia, of course, in the central. So in the history, actually along this Silk Road, we have very good relationship with these countries. Okay, now what China is doing is that, okay, provide our advantages, our industry advantages, our fund, okay, to do the projects one by one. Some of them are infrastructure construction, and some of them may exist in different industries, for example, manufacturing. Yeah. So they need it, and according to their regional position, okay, so they have more they have more incentive, okay, to implement the cooperation with China, because they are very close, okay, very close to, for example, our Xinjiang and our northwest region. They have many connections, which we cannot see it explicitly. So traditionally, China views this region very important. I think that's why we have a so-called Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
Okay. The second question from the audience, from Mateus Lobato. He says, I would like to thank and congratulate Professor Ouyang for the presentation and ask if possible for him to give more details on the Chinese strategy regarding Iran and the Middle East.
Iran?
Yes, and the Middle East.
Middle East, yes. I think it is quite similar to Mid-Asia. Okay? The problem for China is that Mid-East is very complicated. I mean, in geopolitical circumstance, and not stable, especially in some countries. So far as I know, Chinese companies are doing projects in their countries, may face some losses when some issues happened, with some even war. Even war, they got a lot of loss in it. So for China, of course, we will we still want to develop the relationship, economic relationship with them, but we should very careful for the country risk. And of course, they provide a lot of oil and gas to China, and they need a lot of our industries. Even several weeks ago, I met firm leader, just from Saudi Arabia. He has a very small factory in Saudi Arabia, just making textile products, but they need it. They don't have the technology, or they don't have the talents, to make this. So in our view, maybe not very complicated, not very, and it is not high tech. But they also need this kind of companies. They also need this kind of technologies. So China's businessmen may have a lot of opportunities in these countries. Okay.
We are running out of time. Let me pose you just one more question.
Okay, thank you.
By someone called David Ferraz. He says, thank you for the presentation, Professor. And he asks, what is the corridor between Brazil and China? Does the African continent have a role in it? And does China see Brazil as a long-term economic partner?
Of course. Okay, I think we have a very good corridor, that is the BRICS. Okay, the BRICS. So along the BRICS dialogue, I think at first it is dialogue, but now, okay, under this dialogue, we have a lot of economic cooperation with China, with Brazil, and with even South Africa, or even with India. Okay. I think we have a very good advantage between China and Brazil. That is, we don't have any conflicts. And China now is meeting a lot of conflicts. You may know from media. So of course we need to solve it. And of course in the future, we have more opportunities to develop more economic cooperation with those countries that don't have any conflicts with China. For example, Australia. Actually, China and Australia have a large scale of import and export. You may know that they provide a lot of resources for China. But now, if the conflict is stressed, and now Chinese firms may turn to, for example, Africa to seek new resource provision. So in my memory, so we have been good friends for a long time, and then so now in the new world, it is not a problem that these two countries are far away. So I believe that we can do a lot, and this can be done by our people and our firms. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. So we are running late now, so I'd like to close the session. Thank you again for this very comprehensive and detailed presentation. And I'll pass the word to Professor Barbara again for her final remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gilberto. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Professor Ouyang, and also Professor Gilberto for conducting this session. I can't finish it without saying thank you again to HUS's International Office, in the names of Professor Gao, Ms. Wang, and also Mr. Huang. They all work in the International Office and closely with Confucius Institute. So my gratitude for organizing this, for making it possible, for putting us in contact with your academic staff. Also Ms. Jean, who is the bridge between ourselves, and she has been conducting it very well. So thank you so much for that. Our international office for the support, together with HUS's international office, together with Chinese government, we've been working very closely together, strengthening and consolidating our partnership. Also the School of Economics, who has, with Professor Gilberto, been very supportive of Confucius Institute initiatives, programs, and activities. So thank you so much. I would also like to thank all the students and the audience for participating and engaging, fully engaging in this topic. I would like to stress as well at this point that all Confucius Institutes, especially in Brazil, they are promoting different activities. They are expanding the scope of their projects, and they are making it available for all students interested in Chinese-related issues, especially for CI students. So I would like to invite you to check their websites, to connect with them, because they are enriching a lot this whole debate related to China. So keep an eye on that. And I would like to thank, and a good example of that is the presence of Professor Mônica Morim, who is also a Confucius Institute director at the Federal University of Ceará. Herself and her students are also following our talks and our activities. So thank you so much, Mônica, for this collaboration. And I don't know if Jean would like to say something, our Chinese director, all the way from China, working remotely. Your mic is off, Jean.
Sorry, thank you.
All right, so thank you all again. And we will keep working closely together. This year, we've been working not 100% on our capacity, but I think, and I'm totally 100% sure that the future is very bright for all of us. 2021 will be stronger than ever. And I'm looking forward to see all of you, my Chinese partners and friends, here in Brazil or in China pretty soon. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. I wish I can visit your beautiful campus.
No, you're more than invited. That's just a matter of time. That will happen soon. Our collaboration is getting stronger than ever. So I'm pretty much sure that this will happen soon. I have no doubt of that. And thank you, the School of Economics. Thank you, Professor Wang. You have receiving our students, and they are very pleased and enriching their academic experience so much. So thank you, Hust, and the School of Economics from Hust as well, in your person.
See you. See you.
See you all. Thank you. Thank you, Gilberto. Bye-bye, people.
Bye-bye.